A tire company decides which restaurants in the world count as the best, and it has held that position for almost a century. There are only 157 three-star restaurants on the entire planet, and getting one has driven chefs to obsession, exhaustion, and in the most extreme cases, tragedy. The Michelin Guide began in 1900, published by the French tire company Michelin, at a time when fewer than 3,000 cars existed in the entire country. The idea was simple. Give drivers a reason to take longer road trips, wearing out more tires along the way by pointing them toward good places to eat and sleep. Star ratings for restaurants weren't added until 1926, but the guide's entire purpose from day one was to sell more rubber, not to build the most prestigious food critique in the world. That's exactly what it slowly became anyway. Michelin evaluates restaurants against 5 specific criteria: the quality of ingredients, the harmony of flavors on the plate, the chef's mastery of cooking technique, whether the chef's personality and point of view actually comes through in the food, and consistency, meaning the same excellence has to show up every single time, not just on a good night. One exceptional dish during one exceptional visit means nothing if the rest of the menu, or the next visit entirely, doesn't hold up to the same standard. Notably, none of these criteria explicitly reward luxury ingredients or elaborate presentation for its own sake. A humble noodle stall or a simple bistro can theoretically earn a star on the same 5 criteria as an opulent tasting menu restaurant. And in a handful of cases around the world, that's exactly what has happened. Michelin inspectors are full-time employees, almost always former restaurant and hospitality professionals, who go through 9 to 18 months of training before they're ever allowed to inspect a restaurant alone. Their anonymity is treated as close to sacred. Many Michelin executives have never personally met an inspector. Inspectors are told not to reveal their job even to their own parents, and Michelin has consistently refused to let inspectors speak to journalists under any circumstance. Every single meal and expense during an inspection is paid for by Michelin itself, never by the restaurant being evaluated, specifically to remove any incentive for special treatment. A restaurant doesn't earn a star off one great visit. Multiple inspectors return across different seasons, for both lunch and dinner service on weekdays and weekends, specifically to catch a restaurant on an ordinary Tuesday, not just a showcase Saturday night. All of those individual visit reports eventually get distilled during annual stars meetings at Michelin's regional offices, where inspectors argue the case for 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, or no stars at all. Restaurants Michelin doesn't consider worth a visit in the first place don't even appear in the guide. Pursuing or maintaining a Michelin star is enormously expensive. Ingredient costs climb sharply once a kitchen commits to the sourcing standard a star requires, and staff training, equipment, and constant menu research and development all scale up dramatically. None of that spending is optional once a restaurant is in serious contention, since falling short on any one visit, for any reason, can cost the entire rating. The psychological toll of this system has become impossible to ignore. French chef Bernard Loiseau died by suicide in 2003, reportedly fearing the loss of one of his 3 stars. And in 2016, 3-star chef Benoit Villiers died by suicide just a month after his restaurant was named the best in the world by a separate rating list. At least a dozen prominent chefs, including Marco Pierre-White, have voluntarily returned their stars or closed their restaurants entirely rather than continue living under that pressure. Michelin has since started quietly warning some chefs in advance when they're about to lose a star, specifically to soften the psychological blow of an unexpected public demotion. Context makes the rarity clear. As of recent counts, there are only 157 3-star restaurants across the entire world, with France and Japan alone accounting for roughly a third of them combined. Given how many hundreds of thousands of restaurants operate globally, 3 Michelin stars places a kitchen in a genuinely tiny fraction of the entire industry, arguably one of the hardest professional distinctions to earn in any field, food, or otherwise. Despite the cost and risk, restaurants keep chasing stars because the payoff, when it lands, can be enormous. A new star routinely triggers a measurable jump in reservations, often forcing a restaurant onto a months-long waiting list overnight, and it lets a chef raise menu prices in a way that would be impossible to justify without the credential. For hotels attached to a starred restaurant, the prestige can lift room rates and overall brand positioning across the entire property, not just the dining room, which is part of why so many luxury hotel groups actively recruit star-chasing chefs to run their flagship restaurants. So the next time you see 3 stars next to a restaurant's name, remember what actually sits behind it. A tire company's century-old marketing idea, a small army of anonymous inspectors paying their own way, and in the most extreme cases, chefs who found the weight of that recognition genuinely unbearable.